Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today's class will be an Intro to Yin class. So if you are not familiar with the practice of Yin, or you've never practiced it before, but maybe you've heard of it, this is going to be a great introduction. Now, the style of Yin is a specific style that's gentle and slow moving and will hold the postures for a while. So traditionally, these poses are held anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Today, most of the poses that we'll hold are 3, and we'll have some of that are a little bit less, but I don't have any plan for this particular class that'll be more than 3. So it's a great introduction to the style and the practice, as well as getting you acclimated to holding these poses for a longer period of time. So I invite you to grab any props that you have laying around at home. I have 2 blocks, a bolster, and a few blankets. But if you don't have any of these specific yoga props that you would find in a yoga studio, you can grab anything that you have. So you can grab throw towels, throw blankets, pillows from your couch, pillows from your bed, any kind of cushion, rolled up towels that you can use in place of a block. Anything that you like and have laying around that you can use. Because these poses can get deep in sensation, it's always nice to have these props that you can utilize to help you find a little bit more comfort in the pose so you can hold them a little bit longer. So hit the pause button, go ahead and grab anything that you have, and then when you're ready, hit play, and we will meet in a comfortable seat. So just sitting in Sukhasana, cross-legged position. I'm sitting on the edge of a couple of blankets just to allow my hips to lift off the floor so my spine can grow a little bit taller. Just start to take awareness to your body. And just maybe start at your feet and just slowly work your way up your legs to your hips and up to your torso. And as you're just going through this little short body scan, just notice any places of tension or tightness. And as you notice these places, see if you can allow yourself to soften into any of those areas of interest. So maybe your feet have some tension and you notice that your toes are scrunched or curled. Maybe you just allow them to soften. If your shoulders are scrunching up to your ears, allow them to just soften down. Think about your shoulder blades cascading down the back of your body towards your waistline. And feeling your sitting bones root down into the floor or your blankets. Just think about getting as tall through your spine as you can. Imagine each single vertebra stacking on top of each other all the way to the crown of your head. Now that we've had some time to settle into our body, let's shift our attention to our breath. So start to notice your breath as it is in its natural rate and rhythm. Notice the texture of your breath. Notice the quality of the air around you. Maybe notice if you feel the breath in a place in your body more prominently. Maybe even notice if there is an unevenness between your inhales and exhales, and notice which one is longer and which one is shorter. Now that you've had some time to just observe your breath, take a deep breath in through your nose wherever you are. And then exhale, let it out with a sigh. And then inhale into your nose. Pause at the top just for a moment. And then exhale, let your breath go. And pause at the bottom. Inhale again into your nose all the way to the top. Pause at the top. Feel the tension of holding the breath in. And then exhale, let it go, but out through your nose, keep your lips sealed. Pause at the bottom and just feel the empty space. Then inhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top for 3, 2, 1. Exhale it out for 3, 2, 1. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3. Pause for 3. Exhale 3. Pause 3. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Just keep going with this box breathing pattern, counts of 3. And if you want to move into a count of 4, I invite you to do so. And we'll just spend some time breathing in this short breath exercise. After your next pause, let your breath return back to its natural rate and rhythm. And just notice your breath now. Notice if your breath feels any different. Maybe even notice if there was a shift in your physical body after paying attention to your breath for that little bit of time. So coming into our first shape, we're going to take Butterfly Pose, also known as Badakhanasana. So you'll place the soles of your feet together and let your knees come apart. Your legs are in a diamond shape. And I like to create space between my pelvis and my heels. So what I imagine is that there's this imaginary line between both of my knee points, and my heels and my pelvis are on either side of that imaginary line. And you can sit up on a blanket or a cushion or pillow and place anything that you have underneath your thighs. So you can use blocks. I'm using up these rolled up blankets underneath my thighs to give them some support. And then when you're ready, you'll fold forward. You can use blocks underneath your forearms, stack blocks underneath your head, or what I'm doing is taking my blocks, framing my feet, placing a bolster on top so it creates a little bit of a table for me to rest my head and my chest on. Now, unlike a traditional hatha yoga class, we're not so concerned about alignment in yin. So as you can tell, I'm letting my back round forward as much as I can. And if rounding your back does not feel good for your back for any reason, then I invite you to keep a straight spine with a slightly lifted chest. And if folding forward does not feel good for you at all, then I invite you to stay upright and just let the focus be more on your inner legs. But once you've come into the shape, just let your body be as soft as you can. Think about letting your body also be heavy, especially if you're folding forward. Tendency here is to use our muscles to pull us into the fold, but rather just let your body be heavy and think about the weight of your body leaning forward. And once you've arrived in your shape and settled into your body, just start to come back into your breathing. And just take slow breaths in and out through your nose. Try to let your breath be as natural as you can, yet still have this sense of filling up your entire body with air and emptying completely out. Now, as you're holding these poses, know that you will have different sensations occur in different places of your body. And know that there is no right or wrong answers. So every body will feel these poses differently, just depending on different factors. And we don't have to make the poses feel a certain way, but we just allow our body to feel what it naturally wants to in each shape. If for this last minute you would like to remove any of your props away and allow yourself to go further, then I invite you to do so. But know that in this class, even though we're coming to our edge in each shape, know that there is never pressure to go further past your edge. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and exhale. See if you can soften a little bit more into the shape. And then walk your hands towards you as you lift yourself up. Move any props off to the side. Lean back onto your hands, draw your legs together. And with your feet a little bit apart, windshield wiper your knees from left to right. It's really important that in these movements in between the holding, we move nice and slow, especially if you were feeling a lot of sensation. Beautiful. And then we're going to come into our next shape. So taking half butterfly. So assume the butterfly shape, soles of the feet together, knees apart. And then extend your left leg forward straight. Now you can support your left knee here with a rolled up towel and also use that rolled up blanket underneath your right thigh or a block. And then you'll fold forward again over your left leg. Use any props to support you. I'm using my blocks and my bolster again, but you feel free to just use blocks underneath your head or your elbows. Don't worry about if your left foot should be flexed or pointed. Just allow your left foot and your left toes to be soft. And your back can round or your spine can be a little bit more straight. And once you arrive in your shape, just continue to observe the sensations and breathe. Now, from time to time, your mind may want to wander off, especially since we'll be holding these poses for a while. Know that that is a completely normal and natural occurrence. Our mind is just going to do what it wants to do. But if that happens, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't give yourself a hard time. Just give yourself some grace and some gratitude for being here. And then guide your mind back to the present moment. So notice whenever your mind wanders off, notice where it went, recognize it, and then use your breath to guide your mind back. Doing this takes our yin practice from a physical experience to a more meditative experience, which can be really nice preparatory for meditation. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Make any adjustments that you need to, remove props, or feel free to stay where you are if that is enough. And continue to focus on your breath. Use your breath as your anchor to stay in the present. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, see if you can soften just a little bit more. And then walk your hands towards your body and lift yourself up. Keeping the shape of your legs, take your left leg out to a half wide V. I like to start at a 45 from the center of my mat. And you can either keep your right foot as is, or you can scoot your right foot a little bit closer to your pelvis. Now for half dragonfly, there are many different options you can take this. You can either fold towards the center. This will get a little bit more into your inner left leg and your outer right hip. You can also turn to face your left leg and fold over it. That'll kind of add a little bit of a twist as well as some right side body and right lower back sensation. Or you can side body bend towards your left leg, turning your chest upwards to keep the sensation throughout the right side of your ribs. So take a moment, maybe play around with those three options and see which one feels nice for you. And then once you've found your shape, again, use props to support you in any way, in any capacity. And when you've arrived to the shape, come into your breathing. Now, when it comes to the sensation that we're observing in our yin practice, there is a discernment between what is discomfort and what is pain. Pain is not a sensation that we want to endure in a yin class or in any yoga class. Pain can be described as hot or cold, sharp, shooting, searing. And a discomfort can be akin to a light or deep stretch that you're feeling in your body. If you are feeling discomfort, know that that is okay in yin, and it is important to breathe with that discomfort so that way you can allow your body to soften and move past it. But if what you're feeling can be described as pain, then that is your body's signal to either make an adjustment, take a different option or variation, or maybe even back out of the pose completely and just come to sit or lay down and focus in on your breath. Also know that you do not have to hold these postures for the full amount of time that we're holding them today. Everybody has their own threshold, especially if you are brand new to this practice. So if at any point in time your body tells you that it's time to come out of the posture, then I invite you to give yourself the full permission to do so. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and exhale it out. And slowly take yourself back to center. Very slowly draw your legs together. You can either extend them out in front of you and give your legs a little bit of a shimmy and shake, or you can lean back onto your hands and take those windshield wipers of your knees. Move nice and slow. And when you're ready, we'll make our way to the other side. So take your legs into butterfly, soles of your feet together, and then extend your right leg long out in front of you. Use a prop underneath your left hip and a prop underneath your right leg if that feels nice. And when you're ready, fold forward over your right leg, use your props, and know that this side may feel different. So this side may feel tighter, or you feel that maybe you can fold it a little bit deeper. So adjust your props as needed here. Know that what you did on the last side does not have to match up with this side. Our bodies are asymmetrical structures. We're never really the same on either side of our bodies. So you can let each side here have its own experience. And just know that there is no right or wrong. There's only sensation. But once you've come into the shape, come back to your breath, continue to anchor and stay present. We're about at the halfway point. If your mind has wandered, bring it back to the present. Continue to focus on your breath. Soften in any places where you notice any holding. And if you need to make any adjustments to go a little bit further into sensation, then I invite you to do so. Take a deep breath in wherever you are. And exhale it out. Walk yourself back up to a tall spine. And then very slowly take your right leg out to that half wide V, about 45 from the center of your mat. And then we'll take any variation of that half dragonfly. If you want to take the same variation that you did last time, I invite you to do so. Maybe try a different variation and see if the sensation feels a little bit more appropriate on this side. But once you've made your adjustments, once you've set up your props, settle in and breathe. So, one of the purposes of our yin practice and what makes it different from a hatha yoga class, like a gentle or deep stretch class, is that we're trying to move past the superficial soft tissue muscle and work into the connective tissues. So, the fascia, the joints, ligaments, all of those connective deep fibers that hold our bones and our muscles together. And rather than applying force over a short period of time, we're applying gentle pressure over a long period of time. And this adds a little bit of stress to these areas, which allows them to become stronger and more elastic and pliable over time. So we're going to stay here just for a few more breaths. Just continue to check in with your body, check in with your breath, and make any adjustments as needed. If you could be 5 or even 10% more soft, I invite you to do so now. And take a deep breath in and exhale. And then slowly walk yourself up from where you are. Very gently draw your legs together. Maybe extend them out in front of you. Give them a shimmy and shake. Maybe take those windshield wipers of your knees from left to right. So, whenever you're ready, we'll make our way down onto our belly. You can pass through a tabletop or just swing your legs around and lower yourself down. Feel free to take a blanket underneath your hips, underneath your belly here, if that feels more comfortable for you. And our next posture will be Sphinx Pose. So you'll prop yourself up on your elbows. Elbows will be either underneath your shoulders or slightly in front. And your forearms can either be parallel or you can interlace your fingers at the center. Now, I understand that back bends may not feel comfortable for everyone. So, if you find that this posture creates too much pinching and pressure in your lower back, then I invite you to come to Crocodile Pose with your hands stacked at the center and elbows out wide. And then you'll just lower your head down onto your hands. Crocodile Pose allows your spine to come to a more neutral position and encourages that natural curvature in your low back without adding any extra compression. If you are taking Sphinx Pose, then I invite you to just allow your entire upper body to disengage. So just let your chest sink down, let your shoulder blades draw back. You can either keep your head lifted or you can let your head drop forward, maybe supported by a block. And your feet don't have to be in any position here. Again, alignment is not a concern in yin. So your legs can be a little bit wider to give yourself more space, or you can bring your feet closer together. Once you've arrived in your shape, allow your belly to be soft, unhinge your jaw, relax your face muscles, and come into your breath. If you've been in Crocodile Pose and you feel like you can go a little bit more into sensation, then something I invite you to try is taking stacked blankets, maybe a pillow or cushion, or even blocks, and place them underneath your forearms and your head. So that way your upper body gets a little bit of a lift without going to the height of Sphinx. And if you find that added height still creates too much compression in your low back, then I invite you to stay in the starting position in Crocodile. Remember, we do not want to endure pain in yin yoga. Feeling little to no sensation is better than feeling too much sensation that it becomes painful. Take a deep breath in. Soften as you exhale. If you're in Sphinx pose, let's come down to Crocodile just for a few breaths. Just give ourselves a little bit of a break from that back bend sensation. Now, you can either stay in Crocodile, you can come back into Sphinx for another minute, or you can go further into the back bend by taking Seal Pose. So from Sphinx, you'll take your hands a little bit apart from each other, and then press into your hands to straighten out your arms, lifting yourself up a little bit higher. Now, this does create a lot of compression in your low back, so if it is too much, then stick with Sphinx. But if you can breathe through the little bit of compression that you're feeling, as long as it's not pain, then I invite you to stay with your arms straight. Try to have a little bit of muscular stability through your arms, but still let your chest sink down. Wherever you are, crocodile, sphinx, or seal, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, softly and slowly lower your elbows down if you straighten them. And then let's all lower down onto our chest. Take your arms down by your sides, palms up, and rest on one temple. Take some slow, deep belly breaths to bring space back into your low back. And whenever you're ready, hands by your ribs, tuck your toes, and gently press yourself up to a tabletop pose, hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide across the floor, and we'll take a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So inhale, drop your belly, let your tailbone and heart lift. Exhale, round through your back, chin to your chest. And just take a few more rounds on your own. Move nice and slow. And I invite you to add any extra movements, create C curves with your sides, move your hips in a circular motion, move your shoulders, your neck around, whatever feels good, just to bring some movement and blood flow back through your spine. Our next posture before we make our way onto our back is going to be a wide-legged child's pose. So after your next round of cat and cow, bring your big toes to touch, take your knees out wide, and then send your hips to your heels. Once it's there, pause for a moment. Just notice what you're feeling already. So if knees are of concern, then you can take a blanket or two underneath your shins. You can also take a folded up blanket at the crease of your knees and sit your hips back from there. If your hips don't hit your heels comfortably, then you can take a block or two in between your legs and sit on top of that. And once you've found that shape and you've made your adjustments, you'll lower down onto your elbows to start. From here, this may be where you need to stay, and maybe you take a block in between your hands and stack it underneath your forehead. You can also take a bolster or a few pillows and place it underneath your torso and rest from there. And wherever you are, if it feels safe to take your arms forward out in front of you, then feel free to do so, although not necessary. And your arms can be shoulder distance, they can be a little bit wider. If you have no props underneath your chest, then you can even take your hands into that crocodile shape with your hands stacked underneath your forehead. We're not going to hold this posture for quite as long as we've held the other poses. We're only going to hold this pose roughly around 2 minutes. But once you've found the shape, soften and come into your breath. If for these last few breaths you want to move any props away and go a little bit further, again, I invite you to do so. And then just come back to your breath. Take a deep breath in. Soften as you exhale. Walk your hands towards your shoulders. From there, press yourself up. Hips leave your heels as you come back to tabletop pose. And then just take another couple of rounds of cat and cow. And from here, we will move down onto our backs. Move any props off to the side, although you can lay down blankets for you to rest your back on. And once you have arrived there, extend your legs long out in front of you and reach your arms towards the back wall. So just taking a full body stretch. And then on the exhale, just let your entire body relax as it is. With your legs long, walk your feet over to the right bottom corner of your mat, legs together and legs long. And then grab your left wrist with your right hand, give it a gentle tug upwards, and then scoot your shoulder blades over to the right so you're creating a banana shape through the left side of your body. This pose is called banana pose or Badakhanasana. And once you found the shape, you'll just come into your breathing. Think about breathing through your left ribs, your left hip, and notice any sensation along that entire left line of your body. Another arm variation that you can take from here is to let each hand grab the opposite elbow with your forearms stacked. And if it feels too much to hold on to your hand or your elbows, you can just leave your left arm reaching up and over and just take your right arm either to a half T or by your side. Once you've come into the shape, come into your breath. Take a deep breath in and out. And walk your hands, feet, and shoulder back to center. And then draw your knees into your chest, just giving yourself a gentle hug. Take your arms out to a T. Let your legs fall to the right for reclining twist. Now, if there's a lot of space between your thighs, you can take a block or a rolled up towel or a pillow in between your legs. And your knees can be at any distance from your shoulder. They don't have to be close, and they don't have to be at a perfect 90-degree angle. Once you have the shape of your legs, just let your left shoulder and left chest relax towards the floor. Your left arm can either be out to the side. You can reach your left arm back, maybe left hand behind your head and elbow out. And you can either look towards the left or look straight up to the ceiling, depending on what feels better for your neck. Take a deep breath in and out. And then slowly draw your knees back to your chest. Remove any prop in between your leg off to the side. And then reach your legs forward, reach your arms back, a full body stretch. Exhale, soften here. And then we'll take Banana-asana over to the other side. Legs walk to the left. You'll grab either your right wrists, grab opposite elbows, or just reach that right arm up as you scoot your shoulder blades over to the left, creating that banana shape on the right side. And in these finishing postures, try as best as you can to stay present with your breath and with your body and the sensations that are occurring. Resist any temptation to jump to what's going to happen next or what happens after you finish this class and this video. But be fully imbued in this moment right now. Take a deep breath in and out. Slowly walk everything back to center. And then draw your knees into your chest. Let your legs fall to the left as you take your right arm out for our last reclining twist, last posture before Shavasana. Take a blanket, pillow, towel, or a block in between your legs if you did it on the last side. Any arm variation with your right arm, and you can either look towards the right or look up towards the ceiling. Once you've found your twist, breathe and stay present. Deep breath in and exhale. And slowly draw your knees back to your chest. Give yourself one last final hug. Maybe roll into a tight ball and draw your nose to your knees. And then when you're ready, we will set ourselves up for our final posture of ease and stillness. So, with the amount of props that you may have, feel free to set yourself up any way that you like. So, blanket underneath your head, maybe a rolled up blanket underneath your knees. You can also take a bolster underneath your knees and use a blanket to cover up your hips or maybe cover up your entire body. Arms and legs can be in any position, as always. But once you have set yourself up for the pose, we will allow ourselves to settle fully in, let go of any breath control. And for the next few moments of your day, just be effortless and rest. As always, if you would like to stay and rest a little bit longer, then I invite you to hit the pause button. Rest for as long as your body needs. But if you are ready, just start to take an awareness back into your body. Start to deepen your breath. Maybe notice where your head space is, or just notice how you overall feel. Slowly invite some gentle movement back into your body, starting at your fingers and your toes, and just letting it slowly expand and radiate through. And draw your knees into your chest. Roll to one side or the other. Take a moment just to rest on your side, just feeling the ground beneath you, supporting you. Whichever arm is on top, gently press yourself up. Come to a seat just the way that we started, sitting up nice and tall on a blanket or a pillow or cushion. And just observe how your body feels in this moment. Draw your hands to your heart center in Anjali Mudra, thumbs at your sternum. Bow your head down towards yourself, acknowledging your effort, your energy, and giving yourself gratitude for showing up for yourself today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. With love and gratitude, namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone, today. If you enjoyed this video, then I invite you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and share this video with anybody that could use some yoga in their life. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye.